Football.
Let's do a nickel package, Benny. Dealer's choice. Your choice, ma'am.
All right, Detroit Lions.
Okay.
Let's get in there. Detroit Lions nickel package. First question of the Detroit Lions nickel package. Who finishes this season as quarterback 2?
We don't know yet.
You said cornerback too?
Cornerback
2.
two. No, Nate Sudfeld, quarterback 2.
Bring him home.
Cornerback 2.
Bring him home.
Bring him home.
I don't think he's on the roster yet. Hot take. I don't think he's on the roster.
That's not a bad.
I think when cut season comes, I think Brad's just kind of laying in the cut. When cut season comes,
he could be.
You know what? I think it'll be Amik Robertson. I know that the heavyweights also share in their excitement for Amik Robertson, but here's the reality, and I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again just because it deserves it. Amik Robertson had a good season last year. He yielded an 85.7 passer rating when targeted, primarily as an outside corner. And for a little bit of context of 85.7, do you know who had that passer rating as a quarterback last year? Easton Stick. So when you throw out Amik Robertson, you're Easton Stick. Obviously, that's not a perfect correlation, but that is very, very impressive. Only allowed 445 receiving yards, had a couple of picks. And Amik Robertson having that experience as an outside corner, as a smaller guy, it presents an opportunity in the NFC North because they've got a guy on Minnesota named Jordan Addison who plays primarily outside, who's a smaller guy. They've got the Bears have DJ Moore, a guy who's only 6 feet, who plays primarily outside. And then you got guys who the Lions are going to face this year: Stephon Diggs, Tank Dell. Those are on the smaller side of wide receivers, Tank Dell being very undersized, that also play primarily outside. And then Jaden Reed for the Green Bay Packers, he's primarily a slot receiver, but Amik Robertson proved in 2022 that he can play well in that capacity as well. Give me a Amik Robertson for cornerback 2.
You want a dark horse one?
Go for it.
Emmanuel Mosley.
Not at the start of the year, though.
No, at the end of the year.
At the end of the year.
Okay.
Yeah.
When it all comes down to it. That's my dark horse.
The last we saw him on the field, he was great.
I remember that
For 2
play.
plays.
Well, no, not the last time.
Yeah.
The time before.
The time before that.
Not the
Gotcha.
last time. The time
he was
before.
amazing.
That play was electric.
He had a perfect coverage grade last year.
That is true.
Taking
All right.
me back, man.
All right,
Check it out.
next question of the nickel package. Who finishes the season as wide receiver 3 for the Detroit Lions?
I feel like this is kind of like a semantical thing,
Yeah.
right? When you talk like wide receiver 3,
DPJ.
because from a catch perspective, and we'll see how it all shakes out too. I know, like, don't they have like Khalif Raymond like technically on that list right now?
They do.
And I know that Jameson Williams is like by definition going to be the 2.
Yeah.
But I think like wide receiver 3 in terms of catches, if you break it down according to catches, I think that'll be Jameson Williams, because there's going to be a guy, right? There's going to be a guy that takes Reynolds' role. And I think there's going to be, and I'm with you, like I kind of lean DPJ. Does he have a 65 catch season in him?
We have to see. I think he does.
You think he does, Flannel?
That's tough. My answer for the number 3 is Donovan Peoples-Jones. And my answer, it changed a lot after the Cam Sutton situation went down, because I personally think, and we never know what Brad Holmes is going to do, that cornerback all of a sudden becomes a little bit more of a need, or secondary becomes a little bit more of a need than before. So I think that's what they're more than likely to draft in the first round. Before that, I might have said Jameson Williams at 3, but right now I'm going to go with Donovan Peoples-Jones. Just having a full offseason to work with Ben Johnson and Jared Goff and all that, I think he at the very least has a bounce back year. Maybe not 800 yards, maybe not 65 catches, but I think he can get close to or maybe even replace Josh Reynolds' production.
Yeah.
He's shown it in the league before. Last season was a bit of an aberration by the numbers.
Yeah, I wonder if he has that in him still. That's my question.
I think he does.
You know what? This might be the case too, because I know people in the chat right now are pretty much blind firing Khalif Raymond. And I think it's going to be like 2.5, 2.5, or 3.5, 3. You know what I'm saying? Like, I honestly believe that And I wanted to double check the numbers, so I just pulled them up. See, Reynolds caught 40 balls last year. Raymond caught 35.
Yeah.
And I know people are getting kind of granular about Laporta and stuff like that. We're talking like the wide receiver 3 role. Yeah. I think you're going to see them both.
Well, Khalif,
I think that's a cop out a little bit, but Raymond caught more balls than I thought he did last year.
I suppose, but over the last 3 seasons, he's been about a 550 yards a year guy. He's been important. He's not nothing. So I don't necessarily hate the idea of a Khalif Raymond maybe being a wide receiver 3 type, or maybe sharing it, having similar production to a Donovan Peoples-Jones. By the numbers, by what you've seen in the past, that's very possible.
LFG, wild guess, J-Mo will get the bulk of Reynolds' targets. JG will look for Donovan Peoples-Jones on Reynolds' former high-use pass routes. For these people, though, and this isn't we'll get there. For these people, though, that think like Jameson Williams is going to step in and be a 8-9 catch per game guy, I think that we got the vibes. That's not going to be the usage track. Yeah.
I don't think he needs to be that. Give him 3-4 catches for 70-plus yards and a touchdown.
I think like with J-Mo, you're more concerned. 7 touches.
Yes.
Yeah.
However those touches come. 7 touches with the football.
Yeah.
He's definitely more of a make those touches count instead of target him 10 times a game kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah,
you don't speak on him, Flannel.
Yeah, you shut your mouth, Sam Flannel. Shut up. All right, third down.
Flannel, he'd be wide receiver 6.
I know.
Okay, that's
all right.
But you get him 7 touches, he's probably gonna get you a touchdown, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
in some form or fashion.
Yes.
Statistically, yes.
Thank you knew exactly where I was going with that
Yes.
one. Math says it does.
Matt says that's what happens.
All right.
All right, next question. Will Jahmyr Gibbs go over 1,100 rushing yards next year?
It depends, because I think Montgomery's still going to be RB1 technically.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Like,
But he almost cracked 1,000, and he barely
did.
played the first 4 games of the year this year.
He did, but 1,100, I think he can crack 1,000. 1,100, that's a extra 100 yards. I don't know.
yeah, because Montgomery did crack 1,000.
Yeah.
Damn, those 2 dudes ran for almost 2 Gs,
It's
man.
crazy, man. It's crazy.
Could he? Yeah. I mean, would I bet on that?
Nah.
Probably not.
He might be just short of 1,100.
Because I think you're right, KG. Like, if you want to talk like starting running back, it's Montgomery. Mm-hmm. And then Gibbs is like, and this is probably a poor terminology to use for him.
Change of pace.
More of the toy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that.
Back.
Yeah. You know what you know what I mean?
I hate using that term. But
I do too. You know, like it's that sounds like you devalue him.
Right,
but
right.
I think it shows his skill set more.
Yeah.
I think toy.
He's the J-Mo of the backfield.
Better than J-Mo at the backfield. Look at if you want to look at numbers.
Touches. Jahmyr Gibbs is more about touches.
Yeah.
Montgomery's about carries.
All right. Well, although Jahmyr Gibbs actually didn't have that great of a season as a pass catcher last year, but we expect it to be better. I actually here's what I'm going to say. Not only can he guarantee, book it, 1,100 plus rushing yards for Jahmyr Gibbs. And you know why? Because I think he's already the best running back on the roster. I said after the Las Vegas Raiders game, the game where he had his coming out party, that Jahmyr Gibbs has potential to be the best running back in the NFL, even by this year.
No, seriously.
And I think you're going to see a lot of that. And with Jahmyr Gibbs, like you guys mentioned with the touches, what did he also do last year better than almost anybody in the NFL? Explosive plays. So he's going to have those games where one of his runs will be like 30 or 40 yards, and then that basically almost accounts for a 1,000-yard pace just in that one carry. Yeah. So give me Jahmyr Gibbs for 1,100 yards, and that's also banking on him not missing as many games.
Can I? And I know that this will make the nickel package carry over into the next segment, but I don't care because I think this is elite. Flannel, Spenmo, I think you were on this train to some degree. But more importantly, the people, because you guys know we did these shows every Monday, especially at the beginning of the season. And everyone was like, Gibbs, give Gibbs the ball. Can we perhaps admit that the game plan with Jahmyr Gibbs in the usage was perfect?
It was.
Yes.
Looking back, it was.
And can we agree that maybe we owe the Lions coaching staff and the organization a bit of a, hey, our bad, my B.
Yeah.
You guys were right. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Stupid fantasy owners.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
aren't they giving him the
Thank you.
ball?
Thank you, Spenny. And that's what it was, too. Like, the fantasy folk out there that drafted him in, like, the third round were like, oh, why isn't he getting the football and stuff like that?
Right.
Can we admit that, and here's why I'm a little more hesitant to say to go over 1,100 yards is aggressive. Maybe this is the formula. Maybe 180 carries is the formula. Maybe, if anything, that they want to do, anything that they want to do with Jahmyr Gibbs is exactly what they wanted to do last year, where they got him 70 targets.
Yeah.
He had 50 catches.
Yeah.
Like, where's the extra touches going to be?
I think he's going to get some extra touches in the run game throughout the year because he was kind of sheltered in the beginning. But when the beginning, I remember one of the first runs he had of the season was what I saw. I was like, okay, this kid's going to be a stud. It was I can't remember who it was, but he was on the outside. He beat a couple guys and then finished off the run by putting his shoulder down and getting the first down.
Yeah.
I was like, all right,
Yeah.
this kid's going to be special. I think he's already a top 5 running back in that.
Seriously.
I really do. I think
Talk
he's going to
about
be easily over 1,100 yards next year. Like Flannel said, he had the most explosive yards or most explosive plays for a running back last year. The dude's special. Like the elusiveness, the ability to escape defenders and break tackles can't be taught. And I just think that when you get the ball in his hands, you put him get him one-on-one with a linebacker or a secondary
It's a
member,
wrap.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Well,
It's a game of matchups, and that's the matchup you want.
But I mean, when we went into the season, I think all of us, and I think rightfully so, looked at Jahmyr Gibbs as more than just a running back. He was a weapon.
Yeah.
But the way he was used last year, the way that his numbers turned out, he was an outstanding running back on a per-play basis. I think better than any of us even imagined.
Yes.
He was, and that's what I see more for him for the future. Because when you get him the ball, when you hand him the ball, good things happen.
Yeah.
He was objectively better last season, at least running the football, than Bijan Robinson. Who the hell would have expected that?
Yeah.
It
Brad
happened.
Holmes.
Well, Brad, that's why he's our GM.
He drafted him over.
And this is no Bijan slander. He was outstanding. I think having Arthur Smith as his coach hurt him a little bit, but still, as a running back, he was a better runner than Bijan Robinson was last year.
He was. True. But I think if we're talking all-purpose yards, yes, I can see him doing that because he's going to get more opportunities in the pass game as well. So that might eat up some of the rushing attempts.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread, LFG. I wanted hella pass targets to Gibbs. I'm guilty. Bah! so there's that one out there as well.
He got better as the year went on as far as catching them screens and short passes in the backfield.
Yeah, he did.
Just a fan. No. We fans always know more. DNC ENT. No, Neil. I'm tired of the bring 'em along slow shit. I remember that too. There was a lot of the people like that. Can we just say that maybe they were right and we were wrong? Maybe.
The results speak for themselves.